Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the March Board of Condemnation and Blight meeting. Mr. Miller, you're on?
Greg Miller's here.
Okay, thank you very much. The time is now 2:03 p.m. And do we have a call to order? We don't need one. However, do I have approval of the minutes for January 23rd, 2003?
You want to do them both and February 27th?
Yeah. Should we do them together or individual, just in case there's... I'd like to go January 23, 2023.
Got a motion?
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on this matter? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving along to approval of the minutes for February 27, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Sands motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the matter?
None?
All right. Hearing none. Motion passes. I'd like to step back and go out of order if we may, only because we have three in the meeting, and if we can, we'll start with who was here first. All right, Mr. Wan, right?
Yes.
Okay. How can we help you today?
Well, I came because I understood this was a hearing on the blight conditions at 222 Stilton Road. I was the complaining person. I instituted that complaint. When I phoned the office maybe 2 weeks ago, I was told that there would be a hearing on the matter today, and I wanted to be present for that. And I was told that there had already been a finding that the property was blighted. I don't know what your definition is.
Yes. So I think 222 Post Stilson came. I don't think it's been on our agenda yet. So we're having a hearing, a meeting today to talk about it.
I see.
To say yes. Basically, I'm going to make us, and probably several of us are going to say yes. It meets the criteria for blight because it has a big hole in the roof, and that we will move forward with having a hearing. We have to notify the owners because there's a certain time frame we have to give them prior to a hearing. So we'll have the hearing next month, and at that point, but we'll reach out to the owners ahead of time, and they're, But well, let me just double check there. No, yeah, April is the hearing. Yeah, because we didn't meet the time criteria for notification. So, but we'll have the hearing in April. But in the meantime, we'll be in touch with the property owner to see if we can get them to make repairs before even the hearing. But the hearing will be next month. But it does meet the criteria.
Is anything happening today with respect to the property?
No, there's going to be no vote or anything like that. Just other than that, we will have a discussion about it, and right now, that it meets the criteria for blight.
Okay.
Shall we go right to number 8, 222 Stilson?
Question: is there some place on the website that you have like rules and regulations that apply to blighted property?
So if you look on the website, there's a link to the actual ordinance. And that's where that lays out what's the rules, what are the conditions that meet the blight criteria. So that one has, a few there. I think there's some boarded up windows there.
Yes. Some very open windows too, not boarded up, but just the window hanging open.
Okay. Yeah, and those are all the things that, the property has to be secured, but that ordinance actually lists the conditions that meet the blight criteria. And so, but, as I've said, I think we've all looked at it and we agree it meets it, and we'll be sending out a notice of hearing to the owner if we haven't already, and then we'll have the official hearing in April. But in the meantime, we always work with the property owners to work to correct things there. And in the past, this property in the past has been before us, and they've worked to fix things up, in time, over time.
Yeah, that has been on, and we've removed it due to certain work being conducted. So, all right.
I'm sorry. This is Greg Miller. Can I comment on 222 Stilson?
Sure, absolutely.
Because in the minutes from February 27th, 222 Stilson Road, you say this property meets blight and has been abandoned. There are holes in the roof and it's boarded up. The town is considering buying the property, and a hearing will be scheduled next month, which would be this month.
Yep, I see that. Did a notice of hearing go out?
No.
No, okay, so
They
we
didn't,
did,
because it was a short time frame in between the two meetings with the holiday last
okay,
month.
all right. So we'll be sending out the notice of hearing. We'll have that hearing next month. We can ask Mark if there's, Mark Barnhart, our Community Economic Development Director, is present in the meeting. Is there any update on that activity regarding acquisition of the property, or anything you're able to share?
No, I know that the property owner reached out to Habitat for Humanity and asked whether or not there'd be interest in acquiring the property. I'm not sure where that stands at the moment. The
Okay.
town has no interest in acquiring it.
So I don't understand why the town is considering buying the property.
The town is not. That was shared last month, that there was, I don't know where that came from. I think
Habitat reached out to me and asked.
I'm reading from the minutes, sir.
Yeah, no, Mr. Miller, we're having a discussion with Mark Barnhart here. I'm sorry, you can't quite hear him probably. But the town was approached by, the owner approached Habitat for Humanity, and Habitat for Humanity reached out to the town to see if there's any interest in acquiring the property. It's been since decided that there's no interest in the town in acquiring the property, and so that's the reason for that statement in the minutes. But the town is not interested in acquiring the property, so we will have the hearing next month. And but in the meantime, we'll be trying to work with the owner to get corrections initiated.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. One?
No, so, you will make a decision in the April meeting about whether you're condemning the property.
And so it would be a determination of it's a menace to public safety,
Right.
is the language in the ordinance. And so that would be the opportunity for next month would be the opportunity for the property owner to come to the hearing, represent his case, give an update, and then that's the meeting when we would make a determination, which the reason we're having the hearings is because we all think it meets the criteria.
Right.
And so that at that meeting, we'd make an official determination and then send them what essentially is an order letter saying you have to correct the property.
Okay, and what is the time frame for him to correct the violation?
So we usually start with a 30-day window, and then as long as there's progress each month, we'll have the ability to extend that. If they ignore us and don't do anything, once the 30-day window is passed, we can go to a citation, which is a fine.
So it sounds like there's quite a bit of process before it's actually condemned.
There's quite a bit of process, in terms of just, it's
Okay.
the ordinance. If you look at the ordinance for the Board of Condemnation and the blight and the unfit structures, it lays out, we have to have these meetings and we have to agree, we all have to go out and inspect it and then agree that it meets the criteria, and so.
But it has been inspected already by somebody from the health department? That's what I was led to believe.
Yeah.
Somebody had already been to the site and,
Yep, I've been, yep,
Yeah.
and we're familiar with it, yep.
okay.
So,
Stop by for coffee next. I'm at 180.
180, okay. All right.
Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. All right. Ma'am?
I'm at number 122, I'm a ditto.
Okay,
Oh,
so you're here for the same
okay.
You
property.
can have dessert at my house.
Wow.
Oh, okay, all right, well, I'm gonna,
Okay.
Andrea, put those addresses in the minutes so we know coffee at and dessert at. All right.
What date is the next meeting, do you know?
Would be the third Wednesday in April.
Monday.
Third Monday, excuse me, Monday in April.
That'll be April 17th.
Yeah.
17, okay.
Plenty of time to bake.
Oh, now I can do the chocolate chip cookies, huh? Okay, so I'm interested, because I have a dog, and I walk all the time. I've seen people lurking around the house,
Okay,
that look like they're lurkers.
okay.
So if that is in fact true, I would recommend reaching out to our Fairfield Police Department just to, patrol that at that time.
I know, sometimes even the kids, the schools across the street, they're walking home and they're running around in the yard, and it hasn't been kept. A few years ago, there were a lot of landscape trucks that were being parked there during the night, and then would go during the day, but nobody was living there.
Yeah.
So, there's other,
Yeah,
things
just,
happening.
But just like with any other property, if you think there's something going on there that shouldn't, you call the police and they'll come out and take a look,
Okay.
and just make sure that, because nobody wants anybody sneaking in the house or,
Right. Well,
doing any kind of damage or having events, unapproved events at the property.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, with the open windows, we have raccoons and squirrels trying to get in with nothing open, so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other things that could be in there too.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Miller?
We'll go to 20. I didn't see any change at 20, Morehouse Highway.
Okay. Any questions on that property, Mr. Miller? Number 20?
Oh, hang on, let me look at the minutes. When did you look at it?
I'm attorney about
Yeah, but I
collecting the fines. No. Okay.
I haven't had any discussion since.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
And then if there's, well, I'll let you go.
Yeah. All right, hearing nothing on number 20 Morehouse. Number 5.
Oh, I'm gonna go back to that, I'm sorry. Back to, 20, Morehouse Highway?
Sure, number 20?
Yep, hang on.
There's been no change on the matter.
Okay, I think when I last talked and, hang on, you were looking to seek collection on fines,
Yes, that is correct.
and that was on 92 Grasmere Avenue, which I'm not talking about.
Yes.
But
You had asked about, how long the fines go on. Essentially they can go on indefinitely. There is some mechanism for the town attorney to seek collection of fines, but that issue hasn't been addressed at this particular property. We've just put the lien on and he's making very slow progress towards ending that.
yeah, so, I don't know what the fines have accrued for 20 Morehouse Highway, but on 92 Grasmere Avenue, the fines have accrued almost to $200,000.
Yes?
I don't think that's the case. The owner of two properties on our agenda, 92 Grassmere and 280 Tuckahoe, the total of that is right now around $200,000 for both properties. The 280 Tuckahoe is the majority of that fine, with 92 Grassmere making up the rest of that.
How do I find out what the accrued fines are for 20 Morehouse Highway? It's got to be around $200,000.
I don't think so. It's in the area of like $36,000 a year. And so I think it's been
April 28th, 2021 is when we started.
21, so 22, 23.
2 years.
So coming up on about $72,000 is the ballpark for you, Mr. Miller.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, hearing nothing else on 20, we'll go to number 83 Morehouse Highway. I know you've had a...
Yeah, so I've been, I actually have had email communications with a representative of the owner, and then with the owner herself, indicating that, she has reached out to contractors and is in the process of getting quotes to make the repairs to the roof. I did send her, she did indicate that she is also, will be back in the air. She's out of the state for the most recent time being, and is coming back to deal with that. She hopes to meet with individuals that are looking to purchase the property and to close upon it, or initiate the process of selling the property soon, is what she indicated in her email. I replied back indicating that, that regardless of that, the roofs need to be fixed, there needs to be an inspection from a pest control operator to ensure any harborage from the structures has been eliminated, and that, any demo that might happen in the interim would need to be done with permits and inspections to determine that all necessary materials that are required to be abated and or removed and disposed of properly are done so. And so that is where we stand right now with that property.
Can I ask a question? This is Greg Miller, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're the only one on the line, Mr. Miller, so you can go right ahead.
Hey, I'm always only the one on the line.
That's okay.
If the owner says she's on a state, I don't know where she's on a state. She was there 3 weeks ago, and she had one contractor come over and look. And in the past, on 83 Morris Highway, she's always said she's going to sell it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So in the minutes from 2/27, the owner has received a notice of a termination that meets the criteria for blight. There is possible animal temptation. The owner plans to make necessary repairs, and it will require a building permit to be done on both structures. Says the notice of determination specifies 30 days from receipt. So typically, in the minutes, it was written, as long as the property shows progress, there is some flexibility in moving the deadline. I saw her looking at the property a couple weeks ago. And
Okay.
she's always said she's going to sell it. She's been saying that for 10 years. So how many more years do I have to wait?
Well, I mean, so again, I understand that you would like us to proceed to fines. I'm not sure if I'm personally ready to do that, since she is making communications with us, has indicated that she's working to get quotes to make the necessary repairs and corrections. So she has, they are responsive to our requests. Personally, I'd like to give them, at least another month. But I understand you feel differently, most likely. I don't mean to put words in your mouth at all, but I think, we can have a discussion here of whether whether the board feels like it's time to move to fines on the property at this point.
Shall we have the conversation?
Yeah.
I think at this point, she's been contacted. She has responded to our correspondence. This is just my opinion. The fact that she has responded to our correspondence in a positive manner, mentioning that she is currently out of state, but came up to the state to look at the property with contractors, with plans to correct our requests, along with the possibility of sale. I would also agree that I believe we should give her another 30 days.
I agree, she's working with us, they're not avoiding us. See, we give her a chance to get the contractors. People are very busy right now. I can speak for the building department, people are crazy, people are backed up. It does take time to get prices and contractors in, so.
Okay.
That's my
I believe also, this is Phil, I believe our goal is to make sure that things are moving in a positive, and this property owner getting back to us in a positive manner, positive plan per se. I think that that shows a little in favor of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like the board is in opinion to grant another 30 days. And at that meeting, we'll consider, depending on progress, whether they would move to citation. Is that fair?
I would definitely
summary?
agree with that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, sir?
When you refer to sir, are you talking to Greg Miller?
Yes, Mr. Miller, sorry.
Well, okay, I'm glad to hear what you're doing. I disagree with it, but I just want to make my voice heard that this is not the first time the roof has collapsed on that garage, and it's not the first time she's going to sell it. She does live, I believe, in Shelton. She's seen it in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. There was one person who came to look at it, some guy, with her and her, whoever's looking at it. The holes in the roof have been in there for 2 years. And going back 4 years ago, the same holes were in the roof, and some guy just patched them up, and now there's holes in the roof. I'm certain there is animals in there, and the hole in the roof keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's an eyesore and an embarrassment for me with all the taxes I pay. I can't even have people come over. They look at that place and say, "Oh, what the heck's up with that?" So, I don't really agree with giving another 30 days. I just want to make that on the record. Andrea will hopefully record that. I just disagree with you giving her another 30 days. Thank you.
So noted. All right, moving along to
Regular order of business?
back to regular order of business. Any new communications?
Just that, the ones I'll share under
Okay.
the regular agenda.
Okay. Number 4, condemnation, old business 92 Grassmere.
Yeah, so I did have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Wisniewski, or at least back and forth communication through me calling him, and him finally returning my call, that he says he's still working with a potential buyer. Because that potential buyer has another property that's on our agenda, I did have an opportunity to speak with him regarding the property on our agenda, but also mentioned this, and that if this is for real, he said yes, he's been in conversation with Mr. Wisniewski, that he would very much like to acquire the properties, but has not, as of yet, been able to work out the details with Mr. Wisniewski, but he would very much like to. So we are continuing to work with Mr. Wisniewski to try and get this resolved and get the, independent of that is to try and get a contractor out there to give us an estimate for some of the repairs in preparation for the town taking care of some of the issues there and leaning the property for that. So that's the update I have on Grassmere.
Yeah.
And the same for this. It would be the same for the 280 Tuckahoe property.
Okay.
Although, yeah.
All right. So we'll.
Is it just blight or is it structurally unsound?
It started as blight, and then now there's some structural issues there that need to be resolved. Holes in the roofs.
Yeah.
And until we get somebody inside.
But it's not in jeopardy of collapse.
Well, there's holes in the roof, so that some portion of the roof has come in, and we need to get somebody, inside. I've requested for an interior inspection with the owner. He has declined to make those accommodations as of yet. He said, I'm willing to, just let me talk to the contractor, because the contractor who's going to buy it is willing to make those repairs, or has indicated there's some willingness to make those repairs as a part of the purchase of the properties. And so, but as I've said, I've left several messages for Mr. Wisniewski saying we would like to get into the properties and bring a contractor to make those assessments.
Is this being fined yet, or?
Both are being fined, yes.
The other one is Tuckahoe?
Yeah.
All right. Was there any other discussion in regards to bringing someone in regards to looking at the structural stability of it, or were we just kind of waiting on Ray to allow us?
Well, I think we should, as soon as we can, bring, you know, if we have people in mind that can do that kind of thing from the exterior and make some kind of assessment.
They still need to see
Yeah.
interior, you can't just, I mean, it's difficult with just that, that's my opinion, I'm not,
Yeah.
I think we need to get somebody on the inside.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then I will continue to work with Ray on getting that permission, and then short of that would be to get administrative search warrant.
Right.
And
Just go in.
and go in with a contractor, you know, so we can talk to the town attorney about filing that on our behalf of trying to gain access to the properties.
Okay. All right. No other old business, any condemnation new business?
I have none?
And hearing none. Right to number 6, blight ordinance, old business, Grassmere Ave, Handy and Harmon. A hearing in April.
Been in touch with them?
I had. I think this was back in,
Been generally pretty responsive.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
It was
the
for
conditions
the
of
January.
This
right
was back
before
in
we-
January, we had discussions.
There's
So-
like one shed on the
So
property.
I think there was 2 small buildings.
There's 2 small buildings, you know, that in the past have been unsecured. The doors are currently closed. I don't know if they're secured right now, but in the past they've been open. There's also a lot of graffiti, both on the buildings and on the signs on the front fence have all been tagged with graffiti. And then there's a bit of, you know, litter and garbage and debris that needs to be cleaned up along the fence line and just inside the fence line. And so Phil had reached out to him, made him aware of that. They indicated they would send somebody down to take care of those issues, but as of yet, they have not. And so we'll have a hearing next month to issue a notice of determination on that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we'll reach out to them again, and you know, because they're usually very responsive.
They are. They really are. All right. Number 2, 40 Gould Ave.
Okay, so the permits are going through this, I believe we're still waiting on the zoning approvals to sign. One of my inspectors has the application, so it is in progress, they're moving ahead. They did get their CAM, so it's just gotta go through the channel. It's not something
Yep.
that's a week, but it takes.
Yep.
But we are in process, we're trying to get it going. I know I've been hearing from the neighbors, and I've been talking to them.
Yep.
You know, everybody wants it faster, but it's going as planned.
Yeah, and I understand that there was a multi-month delay at DEP
Yeah.
because it's a
Correct.
tidal area.
Title area, waiting on the
So-
CAM reports, they got that. They had a little issue with the engineers, with the screws, the hill core piles. They got that resolved from what I'm told. I
Yeah.
spoke to the builder, been speaking to all the neighbors, so
Okay.
we're going.
All right, perfect. Number 3, we just discussed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is Greg Miller again. I just have a question about the Handy and Harmon site.
Yes, sir.
In the minutes from last month, it was stated the property owners are willing to make corrections. There's graffiti on the buildings, and at different points, they have been unsecured and locks broken. The property line has litter. In the absence of any activity, a hearing will be scheduled next month, which would mean this month, not next month. Am I wrong?
Do you want me to speak to that? Great. Due to a holiday last month, the notification didn't go out in time, so it will be in April. Because it was a week later, we only had a couple weeks, not the full month, to send out correspondence for the hearing.
So, but we'll reach out to the owners of the property or the property maintenance company and try to get them they've usually been very responsive. We'll continue to work and try to get them to make those repairs prior to the hearing, so it's not like no activity will happen. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, we just talked about number 4 and 5. Number 6 is 691 Post Road. 691, which is, I'm sorry?
This is, that entire building, the Penfield Service Center and the electrical, so, the complaint was about a couch and tires and a few other, bits of debris around the property. They did clean all that up. I went out there today, all that stuff is gone, the dumpster is gone. I mean, there's a few minor, singular pieces of litter at different points, but I think that, the blight issue in terms of the debris, they have, taken care of that.
Okay, enough to remove?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess I want to have a discussion about, Fairfield Electrical there has a trailer there that they store stuff in, and around the trailer, they actually store, plastic conduits, and other items in like a, there's like a cage area kind of around the back.
Well, I was just gonna ask, I don't know if.
Yeah, that's probably been there forever.
Would that be a blight? Would that be a blight issue, or would that be another department?
I'm asking you guys.
Would that be another department?
And I'm just bringing it up for discussion because it's there's that, and then there's, I would say 3, maybe 4 pallets that are stacked up that are next to the trailer unit, and whether that's considered, if you, again, I don't feel like it necessarily meets the criteria for blight.
I would say for the type of business, I mean, they're probably getting in 3 or 4 pallets a day, with materials, with boxes, with wire.
Yeah.
And the conduit, that's a normal, that stuff probably goes in and out as fast as it, I don't know that I would put that under blight.
But going back, I mean, I don't personally think that would be considered a blight matter.
With full more under zoning, if they're allowed to store their product outside.
That's where I was thinking.
Yeah, so if that's the general opinion of the board, then I would say I'd make a motion that they cleaned up the debris.
Yeah, I think they did all the couches, debris gone.
The couches and the tires and the things that were in the.
I think I agree.
So a motion, Sam?
If that's.
I second the motion.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Number 6, 691 Post Road removed. Number 7, 750 Post Road.
Yeah, I mean,
There are permits on this project. I was told that they're working, they paid for the permits, and it's a substantial amount. They have a plan in order. I did speak to the owner of the building. He said they are moving forward. It's just some of the details they couldn't discuss with me because of client, but it is gonna happen, he said. March, April, that's their plan.
Okay.
So I would suggest at this point that we schedule a hearing, or unless I know in the past, we have just been talking with the owner and they were responsive.
Yeah, the owner's great. Every time I call him, he answers me and he tells me, they don't give me.
So, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at the pictures. I sent an email, with some pictures, on this one, and it seems like that there's,
Issued full permits for both interior and exterior renovation.
It's in progress.
It's just a question of scheduling the contractor. There's a call in your office to get information, to provide quotes to the contractor, or to the owner. So that's, your secretary has been fielding phone calls from contractors quoting the job.
Oh.
For $750.
Okay.
So that work is.
I know it's in progress.
I expect that work to happen sometime in April.
That's exactly what I was told.
What he's advised is, it's just a question of getting contractors out to the job.
okay.
Yeah.
In regards to blight, going back to blight though, I think it would be fair to say that we just leave them on as we've done in the past, knowing that we have plans submitted.
Okay.
And only because there has been times where plans have come in and work again kind of gets pushed back. And, not saying that these contractors or whomever aren't going to fulfill the
If you want to
plan.
put on for a hearing, understand by the time you have the hearing, you might actually see substantive, progress there, so.
Yeah, I mean, that was my suggestion, is that we, you know, I'll just show you, like,
Hasn't changed.
well, you know, again, today I walked the property, and like the dumpster area around there is collecting a lot of debris and garbage. The repairs they made previously to improve the property have failed, so the siding is falling off. The siding is coming off of the barber shop and blowing around the building there. There's some debris placed behind the barber shop, you know, like, I don't know, it's like plastic tubing and metal things. And there's a part of me that just says, I think we need to consider that and at least put them on the agenda, make a request and in the interim, make a request for that they clean up that stuff.
So I will reach out to the owner, if we hold it over, or however you guys wanna handle it. But
Again, that's my suggestion.
I'll follow up with the owners and let them know, hey, we got, the photos don't lie, I mean, it shows debris, it shows, and,
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's, you know, I mean, I think it meets the criteria. We should take the steps.
Okay.
And if they comply prior to that, then the point of the hearing is moot. You know, if they have a full building permit by then, and they've already started
They have a full building permit already, they
Okay.
issued every permit, that's why I'm a little, reluctant
Yeah.
to, permits are issued.
I'll go with
As long as they start work within 180 days of that permit, there's
Yeah.
really not a lot that we can.
If you
That's
think
fine.
if you think they'll be responsive to just a request to clean the property,
I think the owners.
clean around the dumpsters. I'll rely on your guys' judgment. I'll go with that if you think it warrants it, you know?
So here's what I'd like to hold it, and you can hold it on, let me follow up with the owner, you know, I don't wanna step on anybody's toes,
Yeah.
but I think he's been really responsive to me, and I think if I let him know, he told me they were right at, just like Mark said, they're having a hard time with the contractors, they had a tenant, everything was said, he wouldn't give me names, but let me, follow up and.
You can ask Carolyn.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, they even have like the materials that could make those repairs to the siding.
Yeah.
They're there on site.
I'm
You know,
gonna
they
let
just
him
tag
know,
them right up.
and there's dumpsters, let's get the debris, let's
Yeah.
clean it up, okay.
Okay, all right. Well, we talked about 222 Stilson, we've talked about 280 Tuckahoe, or you
I
wanna
have one
continue?
thing,
Yeah.
The owner did indicate he is, what he told me is, I'm putting new tires on my truck that will grip
I heard that.
and go in the backyard, and he'll start getting rid of the block that's in the backyard of 280 Tuckahoe. So I just add that he actually showed some willingness to make some improvements to 280 Tuckahoe in that regard. That's what he shared with me.
It's very nice of him. So noted. All right, and then number 10, 146 Wheeler Park.
There's no change there?
No change.
No change.
Continues to be fine?
Unfortunately,
Fine.
yes. All right, moving on to new blight ordinance, new business complaints. We received 400 Bronson Road. Just a small, or I shouldn't say small, but just a vacant parcel with,
Yeah, it's got a shed in there with a hole, doesn't
Yep.
have a hole in the structure,
Yep.
there is a lot,
Yep.
the logs I don't think are blight, but there is a big skid steer
Yeah.
parked there.
So, yeah, I agree. I think we should notice it for a hearing for next month. Try to reach out to the owner, make him aware that, you know, that shed needs to either, they need to fix it, you know,
Or come down,
or come
they
down.
probably don't even realize.
And I sent an email to, because I don't know all the details on the skid steer and whether that's a zoning violation of
Yeah, that would be more of a zone.
leaving that on the property. I mean, I wouldn't consider it a motor vehicle, like a car or a boat, that meets the criteria for inoperative motor vehicles on the property, unregistered or inoperative. I don't know if those skid steers are required to be registered.
No,
And, but, so I did send an email to Jim Wynn, just to say, hey, is this you know, we're taking care of the blight issues, but is there anything regarding, that skid steer that we can, you know, inform the owner of? All right, so we'll have a hearing next month?
Okay?
Okay, perfect. Any other new business before us today?
That's all I have.
No, any new? Hearing nothing. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Seconded, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Time is now 2:43.
All right.